In the book of Acts, chapter 11, when the church of Antioch sprung to new life, the church of Jerusalem sent Barnabas to check it out. The result was that the two churches formed a strategic partnership that set new directions for their ministry. And now I invite Reverend Bob Alford to come and share how this story has an impact upon the direction that our church health team is setting.
Thank you again, Bishop. I assure you I am not on commission. And one of our speakers was ill this morning and could not be here for his presentation, so my time has become a lot more condensed this morning. I want to talk to you about a project that we are doing in the North Alabama Conference. It is called the Antioch Project, and I hope we have some slides on that they'll be popping up for us here in just a moment. Otherwise, you're going to be hearing me for a long time. I met with some colleagues in some other conferences, there we go, to talk about ways that we could do church assessments and to work with churches and help them in the awareness of where they are contextually, as well as helping them to think about how they might be able to reach out in their community. So as you see with the slide there, our goal was to help churches think about their vision, what they aspire to, their mission, what they are called to do, and their context where they are located, and putting those things together in such a way so that the church could use its own efforts and adaptability to reach out into the community and to provide opportunities to connect on a wider basis. As the bishop said, the church of Antioch was a church that Jerusalem heard about, so they sent Barnabas out to check on it. And Barnabas was excited and brought Paul in for a coach. So those three things you're going to be hearing about as I quickly walk through some slides to talk about the Antioch Project. First of all, as the Antioch Project is, pastors and churches are invited to consider being a part of the Antioch Project. Now, we have several churches already involved in the Antioch Project, and we will have in September another opportunity for another batch, if you will, of churches to be a part of the Antioch Project. In fact, anybody who would like to know more about this, talk to me sometime during annual conference or go on our website where we have a lot more information. Each year, we're going to expand the number of participants in our Antioch Project so that the following year in September, as we have our orientation, and then we will begin to prep our congregations going through what they need to do with our clergy so that they are aware of what they will be doing and they can proceed themselves in going forward. The first thing we do is to offer a orientation and a presentation for laity and the pastors. Then the pastors take that information and take it to their administrative council, their governing board, the people that are in leadership positions, share that with them so that the process is understood by a larger body of the congregations. So they share that information with the governing body of the local church. For congregations that choose to, at that time, say, yes, we think we'd be interested in the Antioch Project, we offer them an opportunity to go online to take what is called a 360 assessment. We have a way of learning more about the congregation, and also this is a readiness tool to learn if the congregation is ready to pursue this and that they are excited about going forward with this self-study. The church then launches into a self-study, a fairly involved self-study. It includes mission insight. It will include the history of the church, the finances of the church, staffing of the church, ways in which the church fits into its context. We'll have a study on the community itself. After we have received that study, we will, before that time, or either between the study and the time that we have a weekend event, we will send mystery worshipers into the congregation. And they will be mystery worshipers from the parking lot through the entire services, as well as looking at the nursery, what's going on, communications, and they will write up a report so that the church itself will see what does a visitor see when they come into the church. Then there is what we call the Barnabas weekend. Remember, Antioch was a church outside of Jerusalem. Barnabas was sent. The Barnabas weekend is a 2-day event where on Friday there is time spent with staff, key laypersons, with interviews so that we can get to know you even more. Typically we'll start at 10 o'clock and go into 4 o'clock. And then there is an opportunity to meet with a group of people that evening, a small group of 10 to 15 people. The following day, Saturday, from 9 until 12, we meet with anybody in the church, but in particular, especially those people that are in leadership on the council, the board, and we ask them to come in as we then walk through some of the things that we have learned about their church. We hear more about their input and insights into the church as well, too. After that on-site weekend, the following week, there are 3 to 5 prescriptions that are offered to the church. In other words, what are the few things from a leverage standpoint to help the church to move forward from where it is at that point in time? After those prescriptions are shared with the leadership and the pastor, the church has 1 month for town hall meetings. And in those town hall meetings, there will be discussions about the prescriptions that have been offered. There won't be a vote at that time. What are the pros? What are the cons? What do you think about this? How do you think we can do this? After those couple of town hall meetings, a month later, the district superintendent will call a church conference where everyone who is a member of the church can come and have voice and vote on the prescriptions. So again, the prescriptions will be shared and outlined, and there will be a vote. Now here's the key to this. The vote needs to be supported by 70% of the congregation voting, the church church conference, 70%. Now, in any church, you've got 10% of the people who, anytime you ask them, would you do this, they say yes. And they're your wonderful helpers, always there. And you always have 10% of the people who will say, no, what's the question? And so we want to make sure that critical mass, and there is a mandate to go forward, and there is enough people to say yes so that the naysayers, Bishop, the ones who say no, the systems and the individuals, that we're saying yes much louder. If there is a yes, a 70% vote, there is then assigned to this church a coach to work with this church. The coach won't be just micromanaging, but will be helping them process and work and walk through the process of the prescriptions over a 20 to 30 month period. These coaches will be people who have been successful in their own ministry, people who are trained as coaches, people who understand your context as well too, and coaches that will help the pastor and the leadership of the church, again, proceed with checkpoints for accountability going forward with all that you do. And then finally, the question that is oftentimes asked, and probably the first thing you thought about, well, just how much does this cost? Well, I've got good news. It doesn't cost a lot, but it has great value. Healthy congregations, what we want to do is to partner with local churches, but we want you to have some skin in the game, and that skin in the game means that we are asking you to pay 1/3 of the cost of a coach over up to a 30-month period. I anticipate that that will be no more than $1,000 for a local church. If that local church has problems with $1,000, then we'll go talk to your district superintendent, see if we can squeeze them a little bit. But I don't know any church that really wants to do something like this that would have a problem with that. Healthy congregations in our budget, we will assist with 1/3 of that, and hopefully our districts will do that as well as we find opportunity to meet and be with churches across the conference. Now, there are almost 700 congregations in the North Alabama Conference, so we want to multiply this. Think of cascading a water fountain as it goes from level to level to level. We want to grow larger and larger and larger. You heard the report earlier about our decline, yet our slowing of decline. What we want to do is to reverse professions of faith, baptisms, and even average worship attendance for the kingdom of God, and we believe that this is one piece that can help us to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. We appreciate that invitation and that update. And so be in conversation with Bob Alford and people from the church health team as you feel led to participate in the Antioch Project.